Today I have more trivia for you for Tuesday Trivia. I am going to be reading synopses from the Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever, leaving out any identifying names, places, or words, and you guess the movie. I'll give you some other clues if you don't get it from the synopsis, but I have kind of a fun theme this week. So let's get right to it. What's up, physical media and trivia fans? Welcome back to the channel. I have another Tuesday trivia for you today. I am going to be reading synopses from the Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever. I'm going to leave out any identifying names, words, so on and so forth, so that I don't give it away in the synopsis. You try to guess the movie. If you don't get it, I'm going to then give you the year, the cast in reverse order of billing, the director, and then the answer. And I also have fun facts for you for each of these movies. So I'll read all that stuff, tell you the answer, and then give you a little bit of a fun fact about the movie. I'm going to go ahead and tell you the theme for this week. I'll put it in the title as well. This is going to be 80s, late 80s, early 90s action movies. So 80s and 90s action movies. And if you watched my last haul video of laser discs, they're all from that video. So if you want to pause this and watch that one first to give yourself another leg up and edge, you're welcome to do so. But let's get right to it. So I will, Flo's just going to hang out, no licking on the couch. Again, reading the synopsis, I'll give you the year, the cast, the director, and then the answer. And then a fun fact. So movie number 1. Are you ready for some gunplay? Formula thriller stars blank as a private eye and blank as an ex-quarterback teaming up against a football team owner who will stop at nothing to get political backing for a bill promoting legalized gambling on sports. Another variation of the violent buddy picture by Lethal Weapon screenwriter Black. So, if you've watched these before and you've heard one of the synopses with a writer in it or a book, I always leave the authors in there because I think that if you read, good for you, you should get that extra little clue. In this one, I left it in even though it's not an author, it's a screenwriter, and that screenwriter is Black. So maybe that gives you an extra clue. It's also from the same writer as Lethal Weapon. So maybe that gives you an extra clue, but I'm totally fine with that. The synopses or these questions kind of range from pretty easy to very difficult this week. I think I only have one very difficult one, but that's just why I left Black in there. I'm not going to tell you his first name until later. The year is 1991. The cast is Halle Berry, Damon Wayans, and Bruce Willis. The director is Tony Scott. Did you get it? This movie is The Last Boy Scout. The Last Boy Scout. The fun fact that I have for you is that at the time, Warner Brothers paid the writer, Shane Black, so that person whose last name is Black is Shane Black, the most ever paid for a spec script at $1.75 million. So that's pretty interesting. Another little fun fact that's personal to me is when I took a screenwriting class here at Columbia College in Chicago 150 years ago, the screenwriting teacher had us read the script for The Last Boy Scout because he felt it was a great example of a well-written script. So there, you have 2 fun facts for that one. Movie number 2. Blank whams and bams a little less than usual in this cop undercover in prison testosterone fest. As a Royal Canadian Mountie undercover in prison where inmates are perishing under mysterious circumstances, the pectoral perfect blank is on the brink of adding 2 plus 2 when an inmate transferee threatens his cover. Contains the requisite gratuitous violence, prison bromide, and miscellaneous other damages. So You might know this one, 80s and 90s action from those laser discs that I showed in my last haul video. The year is 1990. The cast is Cynthia Gibb, Robert Guillaume, and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Now that you know Jean-Claude Van Damme was in it, I want to tell you there is a little bit of a pun at the end of the synopsis. I actually took out the pun because I thought it would give it away, but it was miscellaneous other Van Damages. So you're welcome for me taking that out. It is pretty groan worthy, but that is what is in the Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever. The director is David S. Goyer. David S. Goyer. And this Van Damme movie is Death Warrant. Death Warrant. 1990s Death Warrant. And the fun fact that I have for you is that scenes were shot in the basement of the Ambassador Hotel in LA at the same time that scenes for Pretty Woman were being shot elsewhere in the same hotel. Less fun is the fact that the basement of the Ambassador Hotel is where the assassination of Robert F. Kennedy occurred at the hands of Sirhan Sirhan. Movie number 3. In his debut, Blank does his wooden best to portray a tough Chicago police detective planning an enormous drug bust of one of the biggest felons in the state. Unfortunately, the FBI has ordered him to back off and find another bust. The reasons are almost as complex as his character, and like most details of the flick, stupid. However, people don't watch these movies for the acting or the plot, but for the fight scenes, which are well choreographed and violent. Watch it with someone you love. I like that. They put that in at the end. The year is 1988. The cast is Henry Silva, Pam Grier, and Steven Seagal. So this is a Steven Seagal action movie from the 80s. The director is Andrew Davis. And that movie is Above the Law. So this is Steven Seagal's debut, feature film debut. The fun fact I have for you is related to that because big-time Hollywood agent, he was an agent at the time when this movie was made, Michael Ovitz, was a student at Seagal's dojo when he pushed for him to be cast as the lead in this film. And that ended up being Seagal's debut. He made a splash because they made a lot of other movies in the late 80s and early 90s with Steven Seagal doing his Aikido best there. Movie number 4. Rookie cop causes a sensation when he single-handedly captured notorious psychopath Blank. But this particular criminal is a twisted genius, and from his prison cell, he comes up with a plan to destroy the young cop. Teaming up with an old friend, Blank, the rookie tries to outwit his evil nemesis. Genuinely scary, tense, and violent thriller. Oh, so I like this one. They thought it was pretty good. The year is 1991. The cast is Ice-T, John Lithgow, and Denzel Washington. Pretty stacked cast there. The director is Russell Mulcahy. And this movie is Ricochet. Ricochet. So the Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever thought it was pretty good. They give a bones rating up to 4 bones, 1/2 to 4 bones, or if it gets none, it's a woof. I don't know. I don't remember how many bones they gave this one, but it sounds pretty positive in their synopsis. For Ricochet here. The fun fact that I have for you is that a scene in which Lithgow tortures Denzel was cut after test audiences found it too disturbing. So the movie was originally darker even than it ended up being, and test audience thought that they crossed the line, and so they cut that scene. Movie number 5. Continuing chemistry between the leads is one of the few worthwhile items in this stodgy rehash. Any innovation by blank seems lost. The story is redundant of any other cop thriller, and violence and car chases abound. Pointlessly energetic and occasionally fun for only the true devotee. Oof, they didn't like this one. This one might be a woof, and if you didn't catch Continuing Chemistry, it is a sequel. The year is 1990. The cast is Brian James, Nick Nolte, and Eddie Murphy. Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy are pretty big clues to this one. The director is Walter Hill. Walter Hill, the director of The Warriors. Excellent 70s movie. And this movie is another 48 hours. So 48 hours with Nick Nolte and Eddie Murphy was a pretty big hit. They made a sequel that Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever says is no bueno. The fun fact that I have for you for this one is after Hill submitted an assembly cut to the studio, they cut out 25 to 50 minutes of footage that left plot holes and eliminated Brian James's character arc, leaving him feeling like an extra rather than a featured character. So apparently Brian James's character was supposed to have a much meatier role, or Brian James was supposed to have a much meatier role, and his character was supposed to have a bigger part to play in the story. And they cut that stuff out when they did the big cuts. Movie number 6. The USS Missouri becomes the battleground for good guy with a secret past blank. He's up against the deranged blank as an ex-special forces leader and blank, a corrupt naval officer looking to steal the battleship's nuclear arsenal. May be predictable, especially the graphic violence, but the action is fast, the villains swaggering, and the lead efficient at dispatching the enemy. Work for Die Hard 3 was reportedly scrapped after Warner Studios announced this film because DH's John McClane was supposed to save the passengers of a boat from terrorists. Sound familiar? So DH is Die Hard. They abbreviated it, and I stumbled on that one thinking, DH, who is that? It's Die Hard. The year is 1992. The cast is Gary Busey, Tommy Lee Jones, and Steven Seagal. Another Steven Seagal movie from 92 this time. The director is Andrew Davis. And this movie is Under Siege. Under Siege. It is Die Hard on a boat, right? Maybe they beat them to the punch there with that plot line. The fun fact that I have for you for this one is that, shockingly, this movie, which I found pretty cheesy overall, shockingly, this movie was nominated for 2 Academy Awards. They were for Best Sound and Best Sound Effects Editing. Sadly, there is no Best Wrist-Breaking Action category. So I added that little goof at the end. But I was pretty surprised that this movie was nominated for Academy Awards at all. But then hearing that it's sound and sound effects, sure, fine. I'm just surprised it came to the Academy's attention at all. For your consideration, a Steven Seagal wrist-breaking movie. Movie number 7. The leads are LA cops with something in common. They both think that they are the best in the city. Forced to work together to beat drug lord blank, they flex their muscles a lot. So that's a very pithy synopsis. It's very short. But the biggest clue there is they both think they're the best in the city. The year is 1989. The cast is Jack Palance, Kurt Russell, and Sylvester Stallone. So Russell and Stallone against Jack Palance. The director, the credited director, and you'll see why I say that in a second, is Andrei Konchalovsky. Again, with names, I do my best. I try to sound them out. Sometimes I might get it wrong. I apologize if I do. The movie is Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash. The fun fact that I have for you about Tango and Cash that I said relates to the credited director is that despite being the credited director, Konchalovsky was fired by the studio before the film was completed. Albert Magnoli stepped in to complete the job, but he was the fourth director to helm the production by that time. Stallone himself had directed some scenes, according to Konchalovsky himself. So that's interesting. It was a troubled production, according to what I read. Movie number 8. Third time is not the charm in this series. The main character is back home in the Big Apple and having another bad day. More Eurotrash terrorists, led by the brilliant and vengeful Simon, are out to blow things up, snag some gold, and make life miserable for him and his reluctant partner Zeus. The claustrophobic settings of the first two outings have been replaced by the exhausting expanse of New York City to good effect, but frenetic action scenes and good chemistry between the leads don't quite compensate for a lackluster script and more cartoony feel. Blank brings a fresh perspective and vitality. Oof. They didn't love this one. They had a couple of good things to say about it. The year is 1995. The cast is Jeremy Irons, Samuel L. Jackson, and Bruce Willis. And I will tell you that at the end when I redacted the blank brings a fresh perspective, that is Samuel L. Jackson. Brings a fresh perspective and vitality. The director is John McTiernan. And this movie is, you might have guessed it was a sequel to Die Hard, but I don't know if you got which one. If you know these movies pretty well, you know the Samuel L. Jackson one where they're going around the city is Die Hard with a Vengeance. Die Hard with a Vengeance, which is Die Hard number 3. I'm 83% sure that it's number 3. Pretty sure. The fun fact that I have for you for this one is that the scene with offensive language on a sandwich board was shot with a blank board. The offensive words were added in post-production. So they wanted to keep the production safe, the actors, from being canceled or whatever they feared might happen while they're making a movie. And so they just added those words in post. Movie number 9. I forgot to mention, I'm going to leave in the main character's name here because this is going to be the hardest one. I think this is the hardest one of the quiz. So I started reading it and I was like, wait, why did I leave the main character's name in? It's because this one is a tough one. So I'm leaving the main character's name in. Chase delivers expensive cars between car dealers or to their rich customers. 6 months ago, he was deceived and caught by the police with a stolen car. Now he's back with a black Porsche to find the bad guys and to take revenge. This one did not have a synopsis in the Video Hound's Golden Movie Retriever. I don't know if that's because it wasn't on video by the time this 2021... no, it must have been on video because I have the Laserdisc. I don't know. Maybe they just missed some. I also couldn't find Akira in here, and I know that's been on video for a very long time, so Who knows? I don't know how they miss some of these. Anyway, the year is 1987. The cast, I would imagine, is a bunch of folks that you don't really know. Like I said, this is a tough one. Carlos Palomino. Robert Sedgwick. And Scott Farraco? And the director is Nick Barwood. So if you watched my Laserdisc haul video where I had those 38 Laserdiscs, this is the one that I didn't know. I came across it and I had to look up what it was about. It is a made-for-TV movie called Nasty Hero. When I saw that, I was like, what is this? It looks so B-movie. It looks so low budget. So it's a made-for-TV movie called Nasty Hero. The fun fact that I have for you about this one is that it was alternately titled The Avenger, and you can still find some VHS tapes with that title in, secondhand stores and on eBay every once in a while. I guess that's not super fun that something has an alternate title, but not only did it have an alternate title, but it was actually some of the physical media was produced with that alternate title. Last one, movie number 10. When a close friend of smooth-talking Detroit cop is brutally murdered, he traces the murderer to the posh streets of Beverly Hills. There, he must stay on his toes to keep 1 step ahead of the killer and 2 steps ahead of the law. Better than average blank vehicle. So better than average lead actor's vehicle. The year is 1984. The cast is John Ashton, Judge Reinhold, and Eddie Murphy. So Eddie Murphy, if you didn't get it from the synopsis, maybe that rings, that triggers your memory to remember this one. The director is Martin Brest. And this movie is Beverly Hills Cop. This is a classic of the genre, action comedy genre. The fun fact that I have for you for this one is that Sylvester Stallone was originally cast to play Axel Foley. The film was intended to be a straightforward action film. When he dropped out at the last minute, reportedly 2 days before filming started, Murphy was brought on board and rewrote a lot of his lines. The result is the action comedy that we know and love. So that is it. That's all I have for you this week. Hopefully you got a few of those. If you got 6 or 7, you are amazing. If you got more than that, you are a super genius with a giant brain. I do have a lot of physical media. I haven't listed these Laserdiscs yet. I do plan to at some point. But if you are looking for physical media, you're welcome to check out my eBay store. I have the link in the description that you can follow from there. If you want to like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. If you don't, that's okay too. I appreciate you watching this far. But either way, you will see me the next time I post. Thanks.